Hi, this is Susan Blue Robot from susanbluerobot.com. I'm here today with another of the 180-degree pop-ups. This is number 2. Suggested if you haven't watched number 1 yet, to go and watch that first. And I am using release 1.01 for this, which meaning that the 180-degree pop-ups are not quite up to, but for those who can't wait for the next release, we're going to give you a couple of videos of how to make them, but it's just a bit extra work. So we'll get started. I'm using Make the Cut's Pop-Up Card Studio and Make the Cut. And this is the card we're going to make today. This is 3 inches high by 3 inches wide when folded. This works, or just under 3 inches. This works for a 12 by 12 mat. And I will also show you that you can cut up here and make them 5 inches by 5 inches, or 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches is this one here. And I just glued up the top here. So we'll get started. First off, we'll bring in a new project, and we pick the 180-degree pop-up. I'm going to do the designing on a 5 inch by 5 inch card. That's 5 inches by 5 inches folded, and we're going to do a gap of 0.35. This one, even though that I am having a few pop-ups coming from the very back, I still tend, for this one, found that it did need a gap. The gaps vary on the weight of your cardstock, the intricate detail of your pop-up, and personal preference. A lot of trial and error. I cut this one 4 times, and I did like 3.5 gap was about the best for this one. So we'll go create, and here we have the card. Now it has 4 planes. This plane here, this plane here, and the back planes. So we'll get started. We're on the front back plane. And we're going to be on the plane of 0, and we're going to bring in a tree. I have generated a tree in Make the Cut, and I've brought it over here. And what I need to do is make sure it's got a flat base and a flat anchoring spot for the top. So we'll take it off to about there. So it's going to be joined here and here. Then with the lock aspect ratio on, this lock over here is on, I'm going to go 5 inches, hit enter. So this is 5 inches tall. So I'm going to put that in the center and put that down to the bottom plane. Now, anything that you have, you want things to come out and pop out and out and out, has to be anchored to this thing. So I've had to make the trunk wide enough to accommodate the deer and the bunny rabbit that I'm going to put on this card, because you can't put your anchors into thin air, so it has to be on something. So what you do then is you then add a auto quad 2-point rec, and we do a complete square to that. Go select. I'm going to lower that. Square I've just made to the bottom. So that's what we have. And what you do now is you select both. You go Boolean join, this one here, and you go difference, apply. So you now know that, see that this is clear and this is your card. We do a copy of that. We go to the back plane, rear back, and you go paste in place. That's pasted it up here. So I do a flip and put that to the bottom plane. So now we have one on one side and one on the other. If you see, I open them a bit further, you can see there's one on there and one on there. And it's joined at the top and joined at the bottom. I'll just show you on print preview. We have the score lines here, the score lines here, and the score lines here. Now, and from the trunk out to the side of the card on both sides, and both the back and the front, this needs to be a cut line. But in this version of Pop-Up Card Studio, this is not a cut line. So you'll have to just tweak this in Make the Cut like I did in my last video and turn this into a cut line. Now, take that back to normal. We'll take this to the front of the card. We bring this to the front back. And now we're going to bring in a deer. So I'm going to put it on a plane of 0.5. And once again, I Googled a deer that I was happy with and took it in to Make the Cut and made him into a traced item. Now, things we've got to remember. You do not have your deer right the way across the base trunk of your tree, because then your tree will just be left hanging and no support to push up and down. Anything that you put from the back, you have to have this back piece bigger and no breaks in it whatsoever. So if we put him out here a bit, we've got room here. We've got room here that the tree is then anchored to the bottom of the back of the card. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a shadow of this deer, and I'll say 0.5, and we go accept. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the deer part there. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to take that over to Make the Cut, and I'm going to go paste in place because that's the perfect size for the print and cut that we're doing. Did I mention that I was doing this print and cut? If I didn't, I'm going to make this a print and cut. Now do the crop at the bottom of the feet, and I'm going to anchor him at the top of his head. I usually find the flattest spot to anchor, to make my anchors. So now we go back, select that, make sure it's on the bottom plane. Then we're going to put anchors from him to the tree. So put this on a plane of 1/8 or better, and we do a 2-point rec, and we've got dotted lines, click there, click out to the tree, and there we have it. And so what we now have, pretending this was the print, we've got our deer here, this is just the shadow. What we have, preview, is we have our deer now anchored to the bottom of the card, and there, from here back to there, will be a cut line, not a score line. So this part here of the side of the tree, all the way up to the other side, will fall out. Now, what we do is we go to the rear back, and we go to a plane of 0.5. and we bring in and we flip this. I found this bunny on Google and turned him into a traced item as well. I'm not going to print and cut this. This is just going to be normal. He's a bit big for this, so we're just making the size that we want. We don't want him as high as the deer, even though it could be a baby deer. That's fine. Now, once again, making sure that this back trunk of the tree has got an anchor spot all the way down to the back. Now we're going to trim his base so he's got somewhere to anchor to the card, and we're going to have his anchor at his back. And we'll just put him into place. Okay, and we make sure it's on the bottom plane, and we go to the rear bottom, and we scroll up until the top line there turns into a yellow line. Of course, move your snapping up to 1/8 or higher. Click there. Click there. And we'll see now print preview if that works. And yes, but he's not anchored very well to the bottom. I should just trim that. So what I'll do is I'll undo that anchor. We'll select the D, go to there, and I'm just going to trim the bottom. See, that's the good benefit of having the print preview. Before you get all the way through, notice that it's not right, then you can go back and trim it. Make sure that's to the bottom plane. Then we go rear bottom, back up to put the anchor on. The reason I undid the anchor is because I'm lowering him. I would have had to go and struggle with lowering the anchor, and it's just as easy to go back and do it when I'm this close to. That was the last thing that I'd done. Click there, and now we can do a print preview. That's better, because now the bunny rabbit is joined to the bottom of the card and anchored to the tree. And this line here from the bunny rabbit out here will be a cut line, and that one there to there. I say it'll be a cut line, you have to change it into a cut line at this point of time. I know I keep saying it, but I'm so worried that people are going to think that, oh, mine's not a cut line. Okay, so now what you can do is you can export render SVG file. And save as. And now we go over to make the cut, and we go import SVG, find the file you just made, and there we have it. Now this is what I meant by the card will be 20 inches long by 5 inches wide to be a 5x5 card. So you need a 20-inch piece of cardstock plus a 24-inch cutting mat, or 20-inch cutting mat if they come in that size, I'm not sure. So what you'll do is you'll put him in place. Nope. Lock that for the moment. Get me dear. And I'll take this and I'll put him in place as a print and cut. Make sure he's on the top. Make sure this is white. And at the moment, because I we'll make this a small card. I'm going to go unlock everything, select all, and with the lock access ratio locked, which is this gold one here, I'm going to go 11 inches. So then that shrinks it down to fit on a normal cardstock piece of paper. We have to go print preview, and here's our what we'll print with our registration marks, and we cut it. Now, the thing is, we'll click on this and go to each its own, because here is where we have to do a bit of tweaking. Now I'll come back over here and I'll go in. Now we select that one, lock that one. And I'm going to go break apart here. This one here, this one, no. We have to node edit this side. No, don't move it. Click on this. When this is yellow, right click and go break node. And the same down here where it meets the trunk. Click on it and go break node. Then we go back to the select tool, click on these, and we're going to go break. So what we're going to do, click off that, we're going to select this one and this side, go up here, select with the shift key held down, click this one and this one. We're going to cut them. We're going to, with the cut bunny rabbit highlighted, we're going to go paste in place. Change line style now, because I get a little bit confused if I didn't change the line style now to no lines on this cut one. Okay, so these ones turn into normal lines, and what we do is we go, okay, we're going to lock this one, select all of these, join, and we're going to go weld and fuse. This will just join these nodes here and lessen the amount of ups and downs of your knife. So we've joined them. Now, so that's your card. You can save on your cutting by click on this one here, this solid line here, push the delete key, same here and same in here, as well as this line here, this line here, this line here, and this line here. This gives you so that this is what's going to cut out without having these lines cut up here and across the top here. So there is your card completed, ready for print and cut. You have your score lines on one and your cut lines on the other. So then the next thing is, if you wanted to, so then what we're going to do, if you want to make this a bigger card, to either do the same thing that I did last time when in the last video, which is the number which you'll see on the screen here, video number, or you can just grab your knife, hold the shift key down and cut across here. That then now cuts them both in half. Make sure that your score lines are unlocked. You select all of them up to the tree line, move them to the side, Now, you can see that I just didn't break everything apart, so that didn't work. So I have to go back, click on this, break apart, and click on this one and break apart. That's to make sure that when you select all of these, you're going to be taking everything with you. I learnt the hard way. Okay, so now what you have is the two pieces. What we've got to do is just throw away this top bit, cut, and we get a pencil. We connect these lines here, connect these lines here. Holding the shift key down takes you across in a straight line to the next one. So they're joined. So that's what you'll have. So then you select all, and you make this big enough to fit your card, your mat, or your cardstock. And I would have this one, put him on his own layer. So now you have this side and this side on different layers. Then I'd select all the score lines of this, put them on their own layer. Select all the score lines of this one, put them on their own layer, and put this on its own layer. So then those two become their score lines for each other, and these two become the score lines with each other. And of course, clean up all the excess empty ones, and then you go ahead and name these. And then this will become the print and cut, and then okay, and that's it. That's all there is to your card. I hope you enjoyed this. This has been Susan Blue Robot at susanbluerobot.com. I have many other videos, and I will have the third in this series of pop-up cards in different 180 pop-up cards in different ways. Be sure to check them out. Thanks for visiting. Bye for now.